Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Speakers Collaborative studio session. I'm excited for today's segment. We've got Kyle DeLeon joining us. I'm going to bring him on stage here in just a second. First, I wanted to make sure everybody remembered that the Speakers Collaborative has a couple of really cool things going on right now. First thing we have is our self-guided mini course available on the website for $49. It's about 45 minutes worth of amazing work. It will give you the primers to be a member of the Speakers Collaborative. Also wanted to remind you that we are currently recruiting for our 2025 cohorts. We are doing a veterans cohort. If you are a vet or a support person to a vet, we are offering that cohort for free. If you are a sponsor who wants to get your name out there as supporting our vets, please get in touch with me about sponsoring that event. And we are enlisting for the rest of our nationwide cohorts for 2025. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Kyle onto the stage.
Hey,
Kyle, welcome, buddy. How you doing?
good. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. So tell us, Kyle, where are you calling in from today?
Good old Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. It's always hot in Cleveland.
Not today. It's kind of crummy out, to be honest. But
right. Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. So Kyle, you and I are in the same communities together, and you were brave enough to step up and join us on today's show. So thanks again, and looking forward to hearing from you. So let's get started. So tell us name, you're in Cleveland, and an interesting fact about you.
So I actually do close-up magic tricks.
Close-up magic tricks. I want to hear about that.
Yeah. So I was a server for a number of years at an Italian restaurant, and all of the girls would be making all this money, doing girl stuff and being flirtatious. I don't know about you, but when I flirt, it's very it's not flirting, it's unsettling. So I learned to do close-up magic tricks, and I just did magic tricks, and it really drew in the tips, and I was making more than they were, and they kind of fought me over it. So
could you do one now if I asked you to?
oh my goodness. No, I don't. That'll have to be for the next collab.
Oh man, awesome. Well, we'll have
I
to
could
have
disappear.
You back. I pushed that button.
Oh, okay.
That's great. So you do close-up magic tricks. You were a server at an Italian restaurant, and now you talk about risk mitigation in real estate. Tell us about that a little bit.
So I was overseas in the service doing intelligence, and when I came home, I wanted to serve still. I wanted a nice job that was safe. I didn't want any dangerous stuff anymore, but I still wanted to serve. And I said, what is the cornerstone of our economy? And it just hit me one day, and it's like it's the real estate, really. Real estate, and who gets the most, my perception is the business owners, of the property managers, of the real estate agents, of the home inspectors. So I kind of prided myself to niche insurance for the business owners in real estate, so they continue doing what they do best, and I'm doing what I do best, is by serving them. So it's like a win-win, and I try to bring my service from the military into what I do today, which is leading with transparency, being really upfront and honest with people, and just providing a duty and service to them. It's not really a transaction with me. You're buying a whole package. You get me all year round, ask any questions you want. I want to be your guy. I want to be your professional in your corner, and it's going great so far. I'm really enjoying myself right now.
That's fantastic. How long were you in the service?
I was in the service for a number of years, and then I became a private contractor, continuing doing what I did, but as a more mentor field, educating foreign partners of ours on how we did intelligence so they can bring up their uh, governments and their societies to kind of mimic ours. And when I went overseas, COVID hit. And it just, oh yeah. So my grandparents raised me basically, and they're my parents, and I flew home on my dime, and I went grocery shopping. I sprayed the grocery so they wouldn't get sick, and I took care of them. And I just, flip of a dime, I switched off the military hat, put on the constructor hat, and now I'm looking at risks, trying to educate people on how to safeguard their babies, their business structures.
Yeah, and I think you're going to do a little bit more of that here coming up in your solo time. But I'm still a little more interested in the veteran component of your story. What branch were you in?
Army. I was an Army intelligence officer, and It was great. They would throw me in the desert, but I would be underground in a bunker with air condition. So it was really nice. Yeah, I was watching people sweat, upstairs, on the grounds doing their stuff, and I'm just on my computer telling them, "Nope, turn this way, go that way." You missed him, he's over there. And
Easy for you to say, right?
yeah, they're wearing all that gear, and I'm over here wearing a t-shirt because it's too hot, because it's
Nice.
too cold, or getting a
Yeah.
blanket,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm interested. How did you get into? You did allude to it a little bit, but how did you settle on your current role?
So, I mean, I'm not very religious, to be honest. I mean, I'm religious, but not where it's in the forefront of my mind 24/7.
Mhm.
And I'm at church one day just talking to a friend of mine, and he's like, "Dude, you would be great in front of people in sales." And in my head, I'm like, "I'm not the salesperson. I don't really want to sell them." And after doing some research, I devised my own program and plan of attack where I'm not selling anybody insurance.
Uh-huh.
I'm serving them insurance, and they're just telling me what they want. And if I can help them and they like it, it's not really a transaction, it's a relationship. And I'm a relationship kind of guy where after working with him for a little while and learning how insurance works, I really liked it because I'm detail oriented. I love reading the fine print and understanding legal language and stuff. And I was able to network with the carriers in order to provide my customers, my insureds, these phenomenal policies that just isn't on the market, but it's written for their protection, not for the carriers. So there's no blind side. It's just a really good structure. And I kind of just fell into it. I'm not going to lie. It's something I didn't really look for, but I mean, it called to me and I'm still doing it today. It's great.
Have you encountered scenarios where the people you sold policies to benefited because they had to file a claim?
Greatly, greatly. In fact, there's a couple situations where they didn't want a certain sublimit on them, and I just advised, hey, just so you know, this area where you work at, they're pretty famous for these testers that call and pretend they want your business, but they're just looking to sue you and make a quick buck, right? So, I think his name was Donald Palmer in Tennessee. Did business with him, sold him some insurance, and I told him get the sub limit. And we went back and forth. I said, you know what, I can't let you walk away without it, so I'm gonna take it out of my pocket. Just it's there for you now. You're protected. Just so I have peace of mind, so I can go to
Right.
sleep. He didn't
Right.
know what he was getting. I did. So,
Yeah.
a couple of years later, just following up with my emails, happy birthdays, anniversaries, gave him a quick call, said, "Hey, remember me? I'm the insurance guy on LinkedIn." He's like, "Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe what happened last month. I had to file a claim." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, tell me about it." He goes, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that wouldn't have been covered if it wasn't for that sublimit. And he's like, "You're right. You're right."
Nice. Excellent. All right. That's really cool. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Every week on the Speakers Collaborative studio session, we turn it over to our guests to give them some time alone on stage. Kyle has got a fantastic slide deck that I'm going to do my best to pull up and split the screen between him and the deck. But Kyle, I'm going to take my leave for a little while, and I'll watch from the sidelines and pay attention. I look forward to hearing from you. So take it away.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, guys, again, my name's Kyle, and I wear a lot of different hats. I love doing different stuff with different organizations. And one of the things that I provide is I consider myself a knight, right? I was in the military service. I know what duty and service and selfless sacrifice involves. So I kind of created this handle I utilize called Knight of Liability. And it's really cool. I share this with everyone who ever wants to talk with me. I actually offer free consultation discussions. You can access my calendar via LinkedIn. I'm sure it'll be put in the chat later on. But here is my slide deck that I use when I'm presenting to anybody. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of what I offer. Night of Liability. There's a second slide there. And then here we go. So here's what we're going to go over today. Just real quick, I'm going to go through it a little quicker than I normally would, just so you get a little piece of everything. But basically, we're going to go over my framework structure. 360-degree business insurance coverage that I recommend everyone should at least consider in their business structure. We're going to go over how you execute your plan that you design, that you tailorize, and then we can go over pricing and coverage options later on. So first off, my framework, step one, I love to educate and I like to establish your needs. So the first part of talking with me would be telling me about your business, telling me about how last year went, telling me about any future growth that you're expecting or setbacks. Let me know what your current coverage contains. Maybe before we meet, I go over your insurance policy. I highlight a couple of concerns of mine that I notice. And after step two, we're going to sit together. We're going to create a plan. That plan is going to be a custom policy and program that identifies and addresses risks that's identified in step one. And then we're going to, after we develop the plan, we're going to execute the plan, right? A lot of people don't know how the insurance process works. So I just label it here. That's the submission phase, the quote phase. We bind coverage, and then I deliver the policy to you. So what's Insurance 360? Insurance 360 is a little term I coined, trademark pending, of what I recommend every insurance business owner needs. You need E&O insurance, you need crime insurance, you need cyber insurance, and I also recommend you get employee practices insurance if you are a big business owner. Kyle, what if I'm just by myself doing real estate by myself as a realtor? Perfect. You don't need employee practices because you have no employees. But I highly recommend you get errors and emissions insurance, which protects if you make a mistake, if you emit something, and it also protects you against discrimination claims, which is the number one reason why someone might sue you. This is money that you'll be spending in legal fees, loss of wages, loss of time going to court, paying for a lawyer, all covered with the NO. Crime insurance. If you are a physical business and you have money, or you are a business that has wire transactions going back and forth from making sales, dealing with customer transactions, you need crime insurance for wire fraud, just let alone. Someone steals money from you, the bank bounces, your money's missing, someone wants to ransom, you're being held hostage, blackmail, it's all covered by crime insurance. Cyber insurance protects your computer. You have sensitive data on your computer. You have social security numbers, email addresses, names. You have floor plans. Definitely need cyber insurance to safeguard your data. And a lot of people tell me, Kyle, I got Norton. I'm protected. Norton is a great blanket attack, software that protects your computer from software blanket attacks. These hackers know your business, know what you're going to be having at your computer, and they're going to attack you directly. You need cyber insurance for when they go through Norton because Norton's only going to protect you so far. The execution of your plan. How's that look? We have the submission phase. I submit. You fill out an application with me. There's several different applications we can utilize. I go to market for you and I hunt for you for quotes from carriers. The quote phase, the carriers come back and they give me quotes. I present them to you. I identify what the quote looks like, how the policy would be written. We go down all the numbers. We see what the premium's going to be, how much coverage you want, if there's any golden nuggets in there, the wording of the legal statements. So I can advise you on how it's worded to protect you, not worded to protect the carriers. And then you say, Kyle, I like this one. Please bind it. That means let's shoot the trigger. You'll want it. Bind phase. After we tell the carrier you want to bind it, there's going to be an invoicing. I answer any final questions you may have, and then I deliver you your policy, which is good for a year or two, depending on which one you want. You think normally I'd be done after that. An insurance agent definitely would be, but I'm not an insurance agent. I'm your guru. I'm your specialist. I'm here for you. So I am going to message you every 3 months, every 6 months. If you're on my LinkedIn, you see I post daily insurance content workshops, risk management strategies, and tools that you can utilize every day in the office. And I'm going to still be hitting you up. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Hey, Tom, happy anniversary. Happy birthday. What's going on? I want to establish a relationship with my clients. I don't want to establish transactions. I want you to be so happy with me, you're telling your friends and family about the insurance guy that you have in your corner, Kyle DeLeon. So this slide's blank here. I haven't had time to write it. And after I was writing it, I realized no the policies I write have been snowflakes. They're not a one all be all. Here's the price of all the E&O I write. Here's the price of all the cyber I write. I make them too detailed and too tailored to your business to be able to provide a roundabouts numbers for you. But we can definitely discuss after I get a little more information from you what I can expect it to be, and we can see what kind of ballpark you're interested in. So that's all my information. I have a little information there for you. I have my phone number, my email address. You can follow me on LinkedIn. That's my most popular avenue of communicating with people. I actually created a website too. It's nightofliability.com. If you want to go on there, there's a blog, some resources for you. And if you ever want to book a consultation with me, the link to my calendar is right there below. I think that's about 10 minutes, don't you think? Oh, we can't hear you.
I know. It was close.
Okay.
It was close to 10 minutes. I'm going to leave this screen up for like 10 more seconds. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to bring it up at the end for everybody to get your contact information. I'm going to go back to this one real quick because I really liked it. The pricing was blank. And I actually think that's a fun sales tool because you're not a cookie cutter and you're the guru and you're not going to just try to fit me into the little E&O box, right?
No.
You're gonna make the box for me.
I've seen them go so far as one would be a $500 policy because it's perfect for Bob, and another one's a $5,000 policy because it's Bob and affiliates.
Yeah.
You just can't give an estimate without me knowing more about your business and being able to tailor the policy that protects you to the best of the ability that a policy can do.
Yeah. Man, that's good stuff. So I want to talk about the crime insurance because I'm a lawyer and I know quite a few lawyers who do a lot of wiring of funds between clients. And tell me why crime insurance is what they need and not cyber insurance to protect those wires.
So carriers, let me deviate a little bit and start with this. Carriers are a group of people that manage a nest egg of investors' money, right? Investor wants to diversify his portfolio. A carrier goes up to them and we're like, hey, give me your money. I'm going to make sure that your money is safeguarded and it's going to grow. That's how a carrier's business structure is. So the investors throw money in the pot gets bigger. The carriers go to these insurance agencies and they're like, hey, I got a pot of money here in the event of a claim. Go write me some legal stuff where that pot of money is held as capital in the event of a claim so I can pay out someone, but they have to pay a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription in order to have access to those funds. Normal carriers will write a policy that protects the pot because that is their investment. They don't want the pot to get smaller, they want it to get bigger. The secret sauce here is networking with carriers. I found a lot of them are family owned or they have a family structure of a father, son, daughter relationship. And they have that family structure, or they are a special carrier that only writes a certain type of business that I'm able to negotiate that in those policies. Yeah, it does protect the carrier from a lot of things, but it also protects you. You want access to that money, and if the event of the claim, you want what was promised to you, your payout, right? You want to be able to utilize those funds in an emergency so that you don't have to utilize your own funds or heaven forbid bankrupt because you don't have the funds, which happens a lot for new business owners. Crime insurance is separate from cyber insurance because they can sell you crime insurance and cyber insurance, right? Cyber insurance, wire fraud can happen digitally over the net. However, it is a currency that is being taken from you. So thus it is covered under crime insurance because it's a crime. Cyber attacks are still a crime. However, they have separate policies because the carriers need to mitigate their risks if they were to package it all into one. And there are agents that package policies. I'll sell you general liability with professional liability. I'll sell you crime insurance with cyber insurance. Or they make a umbrella that's not a normal umbrella and they sell it to you. The carrier has to write safeguards in there to protect this. Because if they're selling you, access to that, and you want access in case of this happens and this happens and this happens. They need to safeguard that and mitigate that, or they need to charge you a premium that's really high. So the secret sauce is being a professional who's been educated and licensed like myself and spent a number of years of understanding how to be a good representative of the carrier like I am. I have great relationships with them. They love me, but also being an advocate to protect our insureds who are trying to access this money. I love it. 𝘮𝘠𝘵, it's something you want to buy that you wish you never have to use, but something that when you use it, you wish you always had, right?
That's right.
Insurance, you never want to use it. The day's going to come. 1 out of 5 business owners is going to face a discrimination claim within the first 5 years of their business. And it will bankrupt them if they don't have this insurance in place.
Yeah. I am not just a speaker. I'm not just a coach with the collaborative. I'm also a lawyer. And in my fractional counsel work, we have a list of it's a checklist, and I call it the crisis proof your business checklist. And it's got legal documents, it has succession plans, it has employee manuals, and then there's a box that says necessary insurance that you have to check. And that's one of the only things on that list that I can't do because I'm not licensed to sell or advise on insurance. But I tell all of my clients as we're working our way through the list, now that you've got your legal structure, now that you've got your protection of your employee handbook, I need you to get an insurance broker and get the insurance that you need to protect all of this, because it doesn't matter what is in our crisis plan.
Right.
And that plan includes everything from communications failures to natural disasters, how to communicate in a disaster, succession planning, especially if my client is a partnership.
Right.
Let's talk about the divorce before we talk about the birth.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the marriage, we talk about the divorce, because eventually one of the partners will leave. And that eventuality is either they'll decide to leave or they will die.
Right.
But they're going to leave. So I can advise on all of that except insurance. And so I send them to a qualified insurance broker, ideally a guru, who will help them through those things, because you can protect everything. But if you're a victim of cybercrime or financial crime, or if you don't have the insurance to cover the rebuild or the E&O insurance to cover the catastrophe, you can't rebuild.
It's out of your pocket. Do you have this nest egg sitting on the side for your business in case of emergency? Great. $50K just for the lawyer right there, right off the bat. $50K for the legal stuff. What about loss of business? You're not going to be out working if you're dealing with a claim. You're in court all day, 12 hours, 2 weeks. You don't realize too, sometimes it takes 5 years for a good fat case to come on your doorstep on something you did 5 years ago. So you can have insurance and you could be sitting here going, I'm great, but someone out there is making a case against you and you can't, it always happens at the worst time, right? You cancel your policy, you don't need it, you're perfect. The next day, what's at your doorstep? A summons.
Yep, and I'm actually envisioning your background is really great for this, because you've got this lovely living room with a grand piano. And
I play Mozart every now and then.
I'm envisioning that the creditor or the court judgment will come and just wipe all of that away.
Nope, that way. Yep. Oh yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, these people, I deal with people, and the number one hurdle I have to jump through is I'll never get sued. I'm perfect. I do everything right. You have to understand, yes, you can control a lot of stuff, but you can't control what you can't control. And there's people out in the world that want to sue you because they want to sue you. You can be perfect. You can be 100%. You can have disclosures. You can have agreements and signed documents. We're all human and we all make mistakes. And all it takes is that 8 to turn into a 9 about how old the roof is. Oh, it was built in 1999. No, it was built in 1989. You just lost 10 years on the roof. You didn't disclose how old the roof is. They want a new roof. New roof, in my estimate, is around $20,000. That's out of your pocket. Congratulations.
Right. That's right.
And
anybody can sue.
Yeah.
Anybody can file a lawsuit. Let's switch topics real quick. I always love to ask the following questions. So, Kyle, are you a reader?
I am a big advocate for reading. I feel like 75% of people after school don't read a nonfiction book,
That's right. So
right?
what do you do these days?
So I love Rich Dad Poor Dad. I
Uh,
love Dave Ramsey. I mean, I'm looking at the personal finance aspect of this, and I have dreams, I have ambitions. I want to get out of the race one day too. And by following the Dave Ramsey baby steps, I always recommend look up Dave Ramsey. He actually has a network around him now versus in the 90s and 80s when he was just going at it solo. He has a doctor that helps you with your mental awareness. He has a person who reads the fine print. He has someone in his corner that deals with business management, business going and getting a job. A lot of different books from his different teams. I recommend looking up Dr. John Deloney
uh-huh.
talking about looking at your past and redefining your future. Eye-opening material here. It just changes your life after you read some of the stuff.
That is awesome. I just started a new book. Let me see if I can find it right here. It's from my buddy Kyle, or not Kyle. You are my buddy Kyle. This is
Yeah.
from Travis Hearn. Dr. Hearn is a vet as well as a combat vet. It's called Through the Storm.
Oh wow.
He does a lot of his work is around the American bison mentality, which is the American bison is one of the only animals that when a storm is approaching, instead of doing what humans and cattle and other animals do, which is we find a safe place, we try to go away, we run from it. That bison gathers the herd and they together walk through the storm.
Mm.
And the reason that they do that is because when you face it and just go through it, you get through that storm faster. And so he's really big about creating that through the storm mentality. You gather your herd and get through it. So I would add it to your list. So Dr.
Yeah.
Hearn is another combat vet. He actually just started a new job with his consulting firm as the CEO. He is one of our confirmed veteran speakers at the Speakers Collaborative.
Nice.
Fantastic story to tell. So I would highly recommend everybody check that out. He's not paying me for that, by the way. He made me buy and pay cash for it, and didn't sign the damn thing. But here we are. That's really cool. I really appreciate your emphasis on reading nonfiction books as you get older.
Hmm.
I do feel like, especially today when we spend so much of our time on a screen,
Right.
we have got to do a better job about feeding our brains in healthy ways as opposed to just feeding our addictive dopamine habits.
I mean, I feel like we're at the part of our civilization. I love throwing ideas out there and thinking about how the state of America is, how the state of our economy is, and where we plan on going, and what kind of legacy do we want for our children. And by educating and reading these materials and understanding the different ways of thought that you never knew existed,
Uh-huh.
it just helps curate for our children's success to make this place make the world a better place. I highly recommend one book a year. Just find a book that everyone's talking about and trickle through it, podcast it, listen to it in your car, audible, whatever it takes. And if you get through one book, you're already better than 75% of the people who don't, right?
Imagine what if you got through one book a week, which was
Yeah.
that was my goal at the beginning of the year, and I have failed that goal, but I have gotten really close to it. So
Oh,
I've read more this year than I have ever done in the past.
yeah.
There's a joke: once you finish law school, you never read a book for pleasure again.
Really?
And so I am trying to go against that grain.
So I have a colleague, because I'm the division leader for our real estate group. I have a colleague that writes D&O and E&O and all the other policies for attorneys and lawyers, and he went to law school. And I go out into the world and I'll work alongside a real estate agent. I'll go in a property inspector, put on a hard hat, and go in the crevices because I want to know what my people think, how they operate, right? We have a person who went through lawyer school so he could sell insurance to a lawyer and understand what do you need, what do you want. And when you kept mentioning lawyers, I just keep thinking of how we have a division for that. And really, whatever you guys need, I'm real estate, but if you ever have any questions, I'm just a candidate for. I love questions. Never be afraid to be the smartest person in the room. and continue asking questions and utilize people like myself, like Cody, and just know that there's people there that want to support you and watch you grow.
That's a great end, Kyle. Thank you so much. So I've thrown Kyle's information back on the screen. I also put it in the comments on the YouTube stream and on LinkedIn. I want to thank you, Kyle, so much. Any final parting words?
Love, peace, and hair grease. That's all it
Love,
takes.
peace, and I don't need the final. I'll take the love and the peace. And brother, thank you for coming. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and I'll talk to you in just a second.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We are taking next week off for Thanksgiving. The week after, we'll be back in December. Can't believe it's already that time with our guest, 𝘱𝘳𝘰𝘵𝘵𝘦𝘳𝘴, who is a disruptor in the healthcare space and is a good friend of mine. So until then, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.